Hi guys, welcome back to Devotion Training, Swift 5 Fundamentals for Beginners. This is part 5, which is going over operators. So let's dive in. So we'll start off by looking at assignment operators. So the assignment operator here, basically it says here A equals B, initializes or updates the value of A with the value of B. So you can see here that B is a constant, which is 10, and A is a variable, which is 5. And then it says here A equals B. So basically we're redefining that A, the variable that was 5, is to be updated with the constant value B, which is 10. So if you run that, we can see on the right hand side that A is now equal to 10. So that is assignment operators. We come down to remainder operators. So the remainder operator basically works out how many multiples of one number will fit inside another and tell you the value that's left over. So in this case, 9 remainder 4, so that gives a remainder of 1. So basically there are 2 4s that can fit inside 9, and then the remainder left over is 1. So these are remainder operators. Compound assignment operators, basically it's like a shorthand for adding one number to another. So this bit here, this plus equals, is the same as writing the, CA equals CA plus 2. So the addition and the assignment are combined into one operator that does basically both tasks at the same time. So we start off with do a variable, which is CA, which is equal to 1. And we add 2 to that value. So then you can see that CA is now value 3 rather than 1 because it's had 2 more added onto it. And we come back to arithmetic operators, which I think I covered in the last video a little bit, just to go over that again. So you have various symbols such as the plus, minus, the star for multiplication, and the forward slash for division. So you can basically combine your values using these arithmetic operators. Then there's also comparison operators. So for example, here we have less than, and this here is an if-else statement, which basically means if this part is true, then we execute the code between these two curly brackets here. And if it's not true, we execute these two here. So I've put here if 4 is less than 5, which obviously it is. And it should print 4 is less than 5. And if not, then it print 4 is not less than 5. I mean, we can see here that Xcode has alerted me that this will never be executed, which is true. So it's kind of a pointless thing to put in there, but it's just interesting to show you that basically it's printed out the message here, but it's ignored the message here, and in the bottom here it's saying 4 is less than 5. So if-else statements basically will trigger one function which is contained here or the other. So this is the less than comparison operator. Then you have the greater than comparison operator. So again, if 7 is more than 6, 7, it should be more than, 7 is more than 6, then it will print out this line, 7 is more than 6, else it will print out that line. So you can see again, Xcode has already figured out that 7 is never going to be less than 6, so this bit of code would never be executed. So if we run that again, you should see, yeah, 7 is more than 6. Then you've got greater than or equals to. So this is using the more than symbol and the equals, which is basically saying that it can be greater than or equals to the number rather than being just one or the other. So we can see again here, this will never be executed, so 7 is more than 6. I don't know why I put less than, sorry about that. Then we have the less than equal to. So less than equal to is similar to the greater than equal to, it's just if the number is less than or same number, then 4 is less than 5. And this is good if you want to basically check a count of things. So if you want to count some objects in an array and compare that to a number that you have as a constant somewhere, you can combine these together to see if it matches what you're expecting. So that's the less than or equal to. Then here we have the equal to. Now we use double equals here because the single equals will define assignment, as we saw up here. So a single equals will define basically to manipulate one object into something else, whereas double equals will compare them against each other. So if we look at the equals to again here, we can see if 5 is equal to 5, and again Xcode knows that 5 is always going to be equals to 5, so this will never be executed. So we use the double equals to compare two objects to each other. And this can be done with strings, doubles, float numbers, booleans. You can compare the equals to here. And this exclamation mark and the equals means not equal to. So I put here, if 5 is not equal to 4, then 5 is not equal to 4. That should be, sorry. Else 5 will be equal to 4. So this is another way of comparing two things to make sure they are not the same. And again, Xcode knows it's not going to be executed. So 5 is never going to be equal to 4. So these are the comparison operators. And we come down, we also have some logical operators. The first one being the and symbol twice, which basically means it's a logical and operator, which means basically if both sides of the equation here are true, then the condition will become true. So you see here, if 4 equals 4, if 4 is equals to 4, and the string test is equal to string test, you can see that comes through as true over here. And so a false example, I put if 5 is equal to 4 and test is equal to test, this comes out as false because this side of the equation is false, which makes the thing overall false because it needs both sides of the argument to be true to be a true statement. Then if we look at the not operator, which basically reverses the logical state of its operand. So if the condition is true, then this not operator will make it false. So for example, we put here test boolean equals false, and it says here exclamation mark test boolean. So this tests if the boolean is false. So this is why it says true. So that's basically explaining why if you use the exclamation mark, it will say if this is not false. So if I turn this to true and check if it's false, again with the not operand, it will say true there. So let's reverse that back to false. And then you have the OR operator, which basically means if any of the sides is non-zero false, then the condition becomes true. So this one here, I've got my test boolean on one side, which is a false statement, and I've got 4 equals 4. 4 is equal to 4, sorry, on this side, which is a true statement. So overall, this will print out to say that it is, let's give it a second, true. Because this side is true, even though this side isn't. And you can add more of these on here. I can just put 2 more and put false again. And run that again. And it will still say true, because this first part is true. And that's it for operators. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch you soon.